welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Mackenzie, and today I'm going to be doing an updated transplant Q&A. So about a year and a half ago, I asked you guys to ask me questions on my transplant, and I made a whole video on it. You can go check that video out. I will link it in the description box. I can't even believe that it has been a year and a half since I have had a transplant. I have no idea how that happened. It's actually more than a year and a half, actually, now that I think about it, because next month is October, so that is my 2-year mark. How did that happen? I might have answered some of these questions already, but that's okay. It's just double the answer. But you can also go look at the transplant video. What? I keep saying a year and a half ago, but basically it was 2 years ago. A lot has changed. I think when I was doing that transplant Q&A, that was before COVID ever existed. So life has definitely taken a turn. But health for me wise has been amazing, and I've been just really living it up and enjoying every minute of my new life and being so excited to just get out there, because I'm definitely get out there. I got vaccinated fully back in March, and ever since then I've kind of been living my life still with caution, because there's always chances, and because I'm forever going to be immune compromised, so I always have to be cautious in some degree. But I've definitely been living a lot more than I have throughout 2020, so that has been really exciting. And yeah, so let's get on into the video, and I'm going to start with the Instagram questions first. What do you do? Wait, I know that you can find your questions. Wait, I swear. Okay, can't you like, oh my god, what do I do? I am so sorry if you asked a question on Instagram. Hopefully the questions on TikTok will answer your questions. I don't know why I didn't save them. I thought you could go back in the story archive and find it, but for some reason it's not letting me with this one. So you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and answer the first questions on TikTok. Okay, so the first question is by Kenzie Elaine. I like your name. And it says, what kind of transplant did you get? So I got a double lung transplant. I have cystic fibrosis, and my lung function before that was 19%. And now I'm sitting in the hundreds, which is so weird. I never thought I'd see those numbers in my life. And my life is just, it's going amazing, and I'm very, very, very thankful. I've had a low lung functions ever since a young age. I remember I was 9 years old, and I went in for just a regular checkup after, you know, having not the best PFTs, but higher, 70s or above. And then one time I went in when I was 9 and I had a 50%, and it was really scary. But really, like, ever since I was 9 years old, I've been hanging in that area. And then I went and my PFT was 35%. That was so scary. Ever since that, it was always below that. And I lived at that from 8th or 9th grade till I was 20. So you can live at a low lung function. It's not the best quality of life. But honestly, I lived it very well for a long time until I went off to college, is when I really, it was actually like the end of my senior year where I really started noticing these numbers taking a toll on my body and actually feeling it, because I feel for the longest time I had these low numbers, but I didn't feel it. I always am a firm believer that numbers are just numbers, and it's really truly based on how you feel. And I always felt really good, because you just learn to live with what you have. I didn't know what it meant to breathe easy and breathe good. I do know now, and it's the weirdest thing. And now I look back and I'm like, wow, I was sick for a really long time, but I didn't know because that's all I knew. It's really confusing. CF is very complex. So the next question by Haley_32 is, what are PFTs and how do you do them? So PFT stands for pulmonary function test. It is something that anybody with a breathing illness has to do. So I have cystic fibrosis, like I mentioned probably 50,000 times already. But and so it's this little machine, and you go inside and it measures your breathing capacity. They kind of coach you. I've always loved the coaching, and they say breathe in, just nice and easy breathing. And then on the third breath, you breathe as deep as you can and blow out for as long as you can. and it is your, I forget, your volume versus vital capacity. It's something like that, but it's over each other. And then it's kind of average and it equals a score. And so mine was always low, and now mine is in the hundreds, which is really crazy. And yeah, so really it just is an indication of your lung function. Mama J25 on TikTok is, do you still have to do nebulized treatments after transplant? So actually, no, I don't have to do any treatment. So after transplant, it's harder to cough because you're getting used to new lungs and you're getting used to the fact that you almost don't have to cough. So it's really weird. It's definitely a mind trick, and you have to learn how to, they want you to cough because they don't want your lungs to get sedentary and you get, sick and things settle in, and it just is a really bad thing. So you always have to be moving and learning how to breathe in the new lungs. So you do have to do nebulized treatments. I had to do them about 3 times a day, I want to say, in the hospital, and then I had to do a little bit more going home. And I had to do some going home for a little bit, but I also had to do the vest treatment, which is, if you guys don't know what that is, it is this little vest, just like it sounds, and you clip it in, and then it has different frequencies and it shakes your mucus inside your lungs. I know this is like very TMI, but at the same time, that's how all of CF is. It is kind of crazy. I did that my whole life and then had to do it a little bit after transplant. You have respiratory therapists come in and PT and everybody to help work your lungs. So yes, I took the long way around on that answer, but I did have to do pulmonary, what am I saying? I did have to do nebulized treatments for a little bit after, but now I do not. So another question by _Tina_074 says, how many meds do you take a day? Chronically ill Shelly asked if I did anti-rejection meds, and yes, I will always have to be on anti-rejection meds, otherwise I will not be here. So I definitely have to take those, and I will forever be on them. JJ Taylor 9 says, do you have to get a new set after a few years? Okay, so with transplant, there's never a definite answer of kind of how anyone's story is gonna go with transplant. The good thing about technology and the advancements that the medical world has made over the years is that people with transplants are living so beyond the years of when they used to. So that is always hopeful, always exciting to know that you have a very, very long lifespan after transplant. I want to tie in rejection into that question because I think it kind of goes along with that. So there's 2 forms of rejection. So there's acute rejection and there's chronic rejection. I think going into transplant, and anybody who's unfamiliar with it just thinks of rejection as like the ultimate doom, and that's the end of the end when there's no going back. So with acute rejection, which is actually very common with transplant, just because your body, this organ in your body is very foreign, and your body at some point inevitably is going to reject it. But acute rejection is very treatable. You just go on a prednisone taper and a bunch of other medications, and you usually can be treated and just go on with your life again. And then there's a thing called chronic rejection, which chronic means forever, so rejection like that stays with you. And in the event that that ever happens, normally, I'm assuming normally you would have to get another set. I have known people that have cystic fibrosis or some other condition that they had a transplant, and they've had to get multiple transplants. Right now I'm just living in the moment and enjoying my life and having so much fun doing so. So the next question by Everrise King said, should I be scared to get a transplant? So I would be lying if I said that it is not a scary experience, but I will say that it is so worth it to be on the other side. Knowing where I am now, it is so worth it because your quality of life goes up. You can live the life you've always dreamed. You can do all the things that you've always wanted to do. Yes, there are a few lifestyle changes and things that you will always have to be, cautious about. But for the overall process, it's so worth it to be breathing easy. And whether it's lung, kidney, liver, any type of transplant, really, your quality of life goes up, and nothing can beat that. So I would say you definitely are going to be scared. But a big thing that I always told myself going through it is this will all be a memory one day, and I will look back and be on the other side and be so happy and thankful that I went through with it. Because there will definitely be times that voices, I think, will creep in your mind and tell you that you shouldn't do it. Even up to the last second that I was being wheeled into the operating room, my body was wanting to be like, no, I don't want to do this. But it's like my body didn't let me say that though, because your body is a crazy thing, and you will be scared and you will have a lot of fear, but your body knows what to do, and it kind of goes in this survivor mode and just gets you to where you need to be. Ultimately, the decision obviously is always up to you, but I would always encourage people to do it because your life is just so much better after. And the last question by Breathe Easy 1 is, was it the tacro that caused you to lose your eyesight, or everything at once? Okay, so I mentioned this in a few other videos, I think in my transplant documentary video, and also in the last transplant Q&A, I think I talked about this. I kind of was going through things easy, a breeze, like it's still hard, but I think for a surgery of that magnitude, I feel like I really got through it well. And then there was a complication of my meds, and my eyesight was gone. So this was really crazy, because who goes into a transplant thinking, oh, I'm not gonna be able to see? It was definitely a weird experience, but thankfully, because people ask me how I got through this, and I'm like, well, I was very drugged up. Like, I was very like myself, but not. So I'm kind of thankful, because I think if I was fully aware, it would have, I don't know what I would have done. It was very scary, even just being half there. But so what happened was, so the tacro, so I was on antirejection meds, and they put me on, it's either voriconazole or posaconazole. There's two of them, and I can't remember which one did it. But the combination of one of those with my tacro, the levels got too toxic in my body, and it caused my brain to have swelling on the optic nerve, and that is what caused my eyesight to go away. So my eyesight was gone for pretty much a day and a half. I had my transplant on the 28th, and then I was in the ICU, and I was ready. It was like I was ready to go down to the step unit, which is just basically your hospital room that you stay in for 2 weeks to recover. I had passed out, and when I woke up, I couldn't see. And it was, at first it was pixely. I kept telling people it was pixely, the doctors, and then eventually all went away. It was colors at first, and then it all went away. And I couldn't see for a day and a half, and the night of Halloween, so October 31st, 2019, I started to see again. And I've never felt more relief in my life than that day. I made it through, and I'm here, and luckily that was reversed, and I just got off the medication, and my levels went down, and my eyesight came back, and it was, whew. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some of your questions answered. Ooh. And if you guys have any more questions, I will always be available in my messages on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere you can find me. You can answer my questions, or I can answer your questions. You can also comment down below on this video, and remember to like, comment a question if you want, or just comment something in general, and subscribe. Remember to subscribe. It helps me a lot in growing this channel and everything. Hope you guys have an amazing and blessed filled September. It's going into fall. I can't even believe it. Summer went by so fast, yet felt really slow to me. I don't really know. I had a really good summer, and I'm so happy that it was really good, and that I'm back to living life. Because this is a transplant Q&A, I do want to take the time to mention something. So my friend Olivia that I had my transplant with at the same time, we were like 2 days apart from each other, and we kind of went through the recovery process together. I got on social media the other day, and I had seen that she had passed away. So if you guys could send some prayers up to Olivia and everything, that would mean a lot to me, and I know a lot to her family and her boyfriend, and everyone in the CF community is thinking of her and I hope she met her donor. She's able to breathe easy now and free from all her pain, so I definitely find comfort in that. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video, which will be a fun one. And yeah, bye guys.